Hello everyone. Welcome you all to Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first MTech channel. My dear friends, today we are going to study interview method of child study. Alright, so what is interview method? Let us see. Before even we see, you already understand what do we mean by interview, right? You always go for interviews for your job, then you as soon as you finish writing your MTech exam and your result comes out and you find that you have passed the exam, then you will go for the interview. So in interview, what happens is that you are the interviewee and there will be the interviewer, right? Those who take your interview, they are known as the interviewers, and the one who gives the interview is known as the interviewee. So we go to the interview panel, we sit there and we tell them about ourselves, right? So there can be one individual, they can be two, they can be three, they can be four, they can be six, there can be 10 people who will take your interview. It depends on which department you are going to, right? So that is interview, where the people, they check your knowledge, they check your speaking style, your language, your tone, your knowledge, then your degrees, your name, your qualifications, your family background, your past experiences, your skills. So all those things are tested in an interview, right? But here it's a bit different than as compared to the job interviews, right? So let us see what happens here. The interview method involves direct interaction between the researcher or educator and the child, their parents or caregivers. So in interview method, what happens is that there is an interaction between whom? Between the researcher and the child, their parents or caregivers. All right, the researcher, they are interviewing the child, at the same time they also interview the parents and their caregivers. Why? So that they come to know more and more about the particular child who they are studying. Interviews can be structured, semi-structured or unstructured depending on the goals of the study. Now, there are different mode of interviews, all right? So it can be structured, it can be semi-structured, or it can be unstructured, depending on what you want to learn and what you want to achieve when you are studying the particular child. All right, through this method, the researcher can gather in-depth information about child's development, including cognitive, social, emotional, and psychological aspects. See, through interview method, as I told you, that the researcher can know about the mental ability of the child, the reasoning ability, the logical ability, the social development, how social is the child, how emotionally stable is the child or mature, how psychologically sound is the child. So all those aspects can be analyzed when the interviewers are taking the interview of that particular child. Features of the interview methods. What are the features? One-on-one interaction allows for deeper exploration of the child's development. See, one-on-one what? You and me, I am taking the interview. It means only one teacher or one educator or one researcher is involved. Only one person is taking the interview of the child, alright? So when he or she is taking the interview of the child, they will understand the child in a deeper, in a better way, more flexible, can adjust audience based on the flow of conversation. See, in interview method, what happens is that you will see how comfortable the child is, and accordingly you can design your frame, you can are interacting with the people, with the children, with parents, with the caregivers, then what you do is that you are building a rapport. What is rapport? Rapport means mutual understanding or symbiosis, where you are understanding the learner and the learner is understanding you, which means you are gaining trust. The learner is trusting you and you are trusting the learner. So there is mutual understanding between the two. All right, nobody is thinking anything negative about each other, so both are mutually doing, or both are mutually participating in this interview method. Now, what are the disadvantages? Time consuming. Conducting interviews can be lengthy, especially if there are multiple subjects. See, interviews can be lengthy, right? If there are many subjects, multiple subjects, many people, then the interview, of course, will take a long time. Limited sample size. Because of the time investment, fewer children may be studied compared to a questionnaire approach. See, now here, since it is a time bound process, which means it requires a lot of time, so as compared to interview method, I think, or according to what is written here, the questionnaire method might be better, because you can give 30 questions in 1 hour, 30 question papers to 30 students, and they can complete it within 1 hour. But it might not be possible if you take the interview of 30 students in 1 hour. That will not be possible, right? So it is time consuming. Bias. The interviewer's tone or approach can influence the responses. So this is what you get to see in many competitive or job oriented interviews, right? That the interviews can be biased. What is going on with you inside the interview hall, we never know. Inside the interview room, we never know. So many people, they prefer their own people to get the job, right? So if I'm talking on the side of job oriented interviews, then you will see corruption is going on, right? So only the people who are related or who have backups and all, only they are the ones who get the job, right? Not you and me. So it this is the best example that interviews can be biased. So suppose if you already know the child personally, then you might be biased towards him and his family, right? You might not be balanced individual. You might have a biased sense of understanding or a feeling for the child. Practical example: an educator might conduct an interview with a child to understand their social interaction and emotional regulation. For example, a teacher could ask, all right, so now example is given here. As a teacher, you and me, we can conduct an interview for a child to understand their social interaction, and we can ask the following questions, right? Can you tell me about a time when you felt really happy at school? So the child will say, yes, I was very happy when sports week was going on. What do you do when you feel upset or angry? So the child might say, when I get angry or upset, I sleep, or I watch movies, or I go out and I like to be alone and I sit in my room all alone. Or do you like playing with other children, or do you prefer playing alone? So the psychologist or the teacher or the educator can also ask, like, you like playing with others or you like to play alone? So the child can respond according to his interest, that yes, I like to play with others because I get to learn a lot. But other child may also say that no, I like to play alone because when I play alone, I enjoy more, right? Well, these questions will help the psychologist or the teacher to understand the emotional status of the child, the social preferences the child have, and how emotionally the child is stable. And also it will help the teacher in creating an effective learning environment for the learner, right? So this is all in this video. So thank you everyone for watching.